Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Leonie, aka Stitching Noni, and this is my FlossTube channel. This is video number 30. Who would have believed it? Number 30. It is Saturday the 3rd of August 2019 and I'm back for another update. So this update will basically cover about a week and a bit stitching because my last video was the 22nd of July. So it'll be stitching from the 22nd of July till yesterday, which was the 2nd of August. Haven't got as many whips as last time because I'm mainly stuck to two more than others, but I've actually think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, as well as a new start. But we'll get into that in a minute. We have got I've finished Joan Elliott July, which is what I was working on throughout July, and managed to get some good progress on both of the two that I was doing. I was also doing bingo for semi-sane stitches, and I got the S. I was the first person to get S on the Insane card, and I was the first person to get the blackout on the Insane card. Yes! Do you know what? How exciting that is for someone like me who does not do much more than probably, you know, 1,000, what do I do, about whatever it is, a couple of 100 stitches a day, and I'd be lucky if I get 1,000 stitches a week sometimes, but that was awesome. I was just so stoked with that. I didn't think I was going to get it, and I'll tell you the story when we get there, but yeah, so stoked. Really happy with that. Yeah, I know. My husband just looks at me and he's like, whatever, but I'll tell you the story when we get to doing that bit. So what else did we do? So July was obviously 24 hours of cross stitch. I was doing the acrostics as well as the other couple of challenges, so I'll fill you in on that as well for the end of July. I will fill you in on what I've done for Magical Stitches and the Lord of the Rings / Stitchy Quest for the One Ring group, and Ultimate Cross Stitch group. Cross Stitch Finish Line and Stitch Mania sales, where I could, I did do a little bit here and there, but I've got to get better at using what I'm doing for Magical Stitches to working with those other sales, because I sort of feel like I've been neglecting the Stitch Mania ones and Cross Stitch Finish Line a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. We'll get back into a normal routine one day. What have I got to do today? I don't know why I've got my iPad on my lap, because I know why. I was going to use it in case I needed to check up on something, but I'll swap that over and pull my notes out instead. So yes, as I said, today is the 3rd of August. This is FlossTube number 30, and I would like to say welcome to everybody who's come to say hello. New, old subscribers, you're all welcome. It's lovely to see anybody who's happy to sit and watch my ramblings. Yep, embracing my crazy. As you will see, at times I embrace the crazy. And that is a theme for the next video, potentially. But I'll tell you about that on the next video. I've got some secrets. Well, not secrets. We don't have secrets. But I potentially have a surprise. How's that? But we'll... No spoilers. You're not getting spoilers here, okay? So, as I mentioned, I did bingo. And I'm really pleased to do the 28th of July, I got the S. 29th of July, I got the full blackout. Yes, done. I also completed the Foxy Loxy card. I did one and a half cards in the Ultimate Cross Stitch group for the Foxy Loxy. That was a Foxy Loxy lotto, sorry. What else did we do? Oh, I did Magical Stitches. What did we do for Magical Stitches? We had Detention Week 4, which I think I was doing that last video. I just started that because I was using Peacock Lady for that, so I'll show you that when we get to that. Week 5, we're doing the Stitching Army at the moment, so there's 5 tasks of 200 stitches, so I'll talk to you about that one when we get, as I go through that one as well. There's Stitchy Quest for the One Ring. So week 8 was, or quest number 8 was Fighting Trolls. So we finished that and moved on to quest number 9, which was, what was quest number 9? I can't remember now. And someone's about to knock on the door. I can see a car's just pulled up the drive, so happy we'll have to deal with that. Quest number 10 is ongoing at the moment. I can't remember what I've done for quest number 9. Oh well, we'll get there when we get there. I'll talk about that. So anyway, I'll stop rambling, because the more I ramble, the less you're going to want to watch me. I've got a tiny bit of haul, not a lot. So the first thing what we'll do is I will show you what I have been doing with my stitching. Oh no, they've obviously, it was a wrong house, they've just pulled out. Okay, that's good, that's even better, because that means the door's not going to go and ring. Yeah, bye. Whatever that was. Okay, so the main focus for the last week and a bit has been Peacock Lady, Father Frost. I had Queen Mermaid out, I also had Miss Christmas Eve out, and I did a new start. So, Peacock Lady, Joan Elliott, July. Oh, we're going to get glare off the window. Oh dear. Oh, hopefully it won't be too bad. This has been one of my focus ones for the last month. For Joan Elliott, July. I have done quite a few stitches on her. I've totaled up what I've done over the last week, but I should have totaled up what I've done entirely for the month. But I will put in the before pic, so you'll see what it was on the last one. And I might actually, because I've done quite a bit on this, I might even put in a before pic of where she was at the beginning of July. So I might try and do that. But this is Peacock Lady from Joan Elliott. And this came out of a World of Cross Stitching issue. And I know I always put it in there. It's somewhere. I'll put it in as I do on the bottom. But it's a World of Cross Stitching chart. And I've pulled her off the Q-snap because this is where she's at now. So essentially, this week I worked on, which way did we go? Yeah, border. So it came down, border, border, lovely border. I then also worked on the fan. So we've got some fan there. And then I worked on peacock feathers in the tail. So the reason I've got so much done on this is we have used it for, we did 7 stitching sessions over the last week, from the 22nd of July to the 1st of August. I've used it for Magical Stitches week 4, for one of the tasks in that. I've used it for the Stitchy Quest, both quest number 9 and number 10, and I've also used it for bingo numerous times, and used it, it's now my semi-sane stitch, or it was my semi-sane stitches whip number 1 for the crazy 8 that I'm doing, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and dominoes. And for bingo, oh, I just showed you that, how stupid is that? There we go, that's better. So for bingo, so as I mentioned, I got my insane bingo card. So, like, when I last spoke to you on the 22nd of July, I missed a draw on that day. We had a lot going on that day. There was actually, my brother-in-law passed away at the beginning of July, so we had a remembrance service for him that day. So we had a lot going on, so I missed a draw. And I then picked it up a couple of days later and realised that, oh dear, there was actually 2 numbers, which meant that instead of doing the 50 stitches, I had to do 50 stitches times 3 days or 4 days or whatever. In the end, I did 300 stitches for both of the 2 numbers that I missed. So one of the numbers that I missed was 471, which is all of this green here. So it's that green in the fan and all of the green down in the tail, the lighter green in the tail. So in the end, I managed 304 stitches or 320 stitches for that particular one. So for the whole design, I managed to do, well, the whole whip, I got 1,019 stitches done over the week. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. I'm really pleased about that. Or week and a bit, whatever it was, 10 days or something. So yeah, pretty impressive. So that was my main focus. Did I make a note? I'll just go back to my notes quickly because I did make a note of something on that, didn't I? No, I didn't. That's all right. What did I use it for? I can tell you. So I used her for Magical Stitches week 5. Oh, yes. So I used her for the week 5 one, which was the Stupefying Charm, and I said that the lady was so beautiful that she stunned the peacock, and she was able to, because she'd stunned him, she was able to take some feathers from his tail for her charms that she had to do. So that was my reasoning to use that one. And I also have used it this week for the task number 5, which is to stitch your Patronus. Now my Patronus is a phoenix. Phoenix is a bird. Peacock's a bird. So that was the tie-in for that. So I got those two. I also used it for Stitchy quest number 9, which the Cave of Treasures quest. And I had to do 300 stitches for task number 2, which was gold or metallics. And I chose to do the border for that. What else did we do it for? I think that was about it. And as I mentioned, she was my Semi-Sane Stitches Crazy 8 number 1 whip for my domino and Crazy 8 for August. So that was my number 1 whip, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So I think that was it. So that was all of the things I used her for. Did I use it for anything else? I did week 4. Oh, that's right. Week 4 for Magical Stitches was detention, and I only managed 438 stitches of the 1,000 that I had to do. And I chose to work on her, as I mentioned in my last video, I was choosing to work on her as the penalty stitch because I didn't feel like working on words or blue and black threads. So I chose to stitch on her, but I got so distracted with Father Frost and a couple of other things that week, so I missed out on my 1,000 stitches, but that's okay, that's fine. So yeah, so that was her. So the next whip that I worked on mostly over the last week or so is my Father Frost, which is also a Joan Elliott and was also part of my Joan Elliott July stitching. This comes out of the Cross Stitch Gold issue, and I think this is number 97 from memory, but I'll put it at the bottom. So this was a new start for July. So that I will put a before picture of what it looked like before I started stitching on it, or what it looked like since, you know what I mean. I'll put a before pic so you can see how much I've done for the week. And here it is now. Now I have numerous trailing threads, and I forgot to tell you what Peacock Lady was on, didn't I? Which I would have put it down the bottom, so you would have seen it by now, but that was on a Jodery design fabric, 28 count, Opal Brittany After the Rain. This one is Father Frost. This one is on 32 count Opal, Lugana, and this is Silver Springs by Colour Cascade fabric. So this is where it's at now. And as I mentioned, I had my stuff up with my bingo, which meant I had to do multiple stitches. So I had to do 300 stitches of 318. So I did the outline of the bear in 318, and I think I did 304 stitches from memory with that. So that was done. Now, this one is bingo well and truly, as you can see by the way I have stitched all over the place. So all of these little bits up here have all had to be bingo. That's all bingo. The white was bingo. And this little bit here, that is my winning bingo. So the night that I got bingo, I was packing up for the night. I'd been stitching on, I can't remember which one did I stitch on. Oh yeah, I'd been stitching on Peacock Lady for the evening. So it was putting her away, and before I go to bed, I always check the bingo drawer. Generally check the bingo drawer. If it's up, I'll just write it down, because obviously I'm going to bed and I can't sit up and stitch. So, well, I could, but I don't. So I'd know what I had to do as soon as I got home from work the next day, or if it was a weekend, I knew what I had to stitch first up. So this particular night, I was one number away, and I'm sort of like, oh, any day now it's going to come up, because it was the 28th of July, and I'd just done the S. I'd got the S thing. And I was thinking, I've got one number, and it was 796. I happened to see the drawer had been done just like a couple of minutes before I checked my phone. So I said to hubby, not go to bed, because I need to get these 50 stitches in before I go to bed, because then I've won bingo. So I did it. And it was 796. So I made a whole new, because you can see I've got a trailing thread of 796 already there, but I decided I'd do a new section of 796 so that it was obvious that it was the 50 stitches, and that was that. It just been there. So that won my bingo for me. Awesome, huh? So I think I went to bed at like about 11 o'clock at night, which is not good when I'm going to work the next day and I'm up at 4:45, but sorry, 4:45. Idiot. 4:45 I'm on the train. No, I'm not quite, but 4:45 I normally get up. So between 4:45 and 5 I get up and I'm on the train at 6 to go to work. But so yeah, so that's it. So now this is going to stay out because this is my All That Bling Semi-Sane Stitches piece, which we're working on. So basically you chose a new start and then work on it between now and I think it's the 14th of December. Try and get it finished between now and the 14th of December. And this was my piece that I chose for that. So that will now stay out because I'll work on that on and off over the next couple of months, and whether I get it finished or not is another matter, but that'll stay out. So the other one, let's see how many stitches I did. I think I did 596 in total since the 22nd of July on that. And it's been mainly used for Magical Stitches Extra Credit and Bingo, but it was used for Magical Stitches Extra Credit number 6, which was a Christmas theme piece because it's a Christmas theme. I used it and completed Something Found in a Forest, trees, whatever. That's definitely a forest in the background of that. And I'm currently using it for the Extra Credit number 8, which was to stitch on something with spheres or circles or glass. And the bear's got a wreath around his neck, which is definitely a circle. There's pom-pom, but I didn't say it's a pom-pom. I didn't worry about that. But I've said that there's glass beads all over this. So I'm using that. I don't think there was anything else. There was a bauble in there, but it's hard to tell whether the bauble's a circle. But it's a sphere, so that could get away with that. But I mainly said it was glass beads because I was beading, and a circle because of the wreath around his neck. So 596 stitches done on that. I also had to pull out for Bingo Miss Christmas Eve, which is a Mirabilia. And it was one of those ones I had the number that was called for Bingo. I could have used, I think it's in Father Frost from memory, but it was in the spot that it would just take too hard to basically do the counting. So I thought, bugger it, we'll do it on something that's not so hard to count and find, and keep your fingers crossed that it's in the right spot. So it was $8.98 or something. I can't remember now what it was. I could probably find it really quickly, but yeah, won't worry. So it was just that little bit of hair. So other than that, that's all that's changed on her. She's on a 32 count Opal Belfast Silver Springs from Colour Cascade fabric. So as you can see how different Silver Springs can look on different fabrics. Now this was a misdye, mind you, because it's one of the studio sessions, but depending on how fabrics dye, there is a definite difference in Silver Springs, but I love it however, whether it comes out the lighter silver or the darker silver. It's still a beautiful colour fabric and works for so many of my things. So there you go. So that's all I did on poor old Miss Christmas Eve. So she will continue to languish in the whip basket for a little bit longer, but you never know, she might come out again. So I'll pop her over there because she's got to go away later. And then I also had to do some Bingo stitching on the beautiful Queen Mermaid, which of course is another Mirabilia. This one is also on a Colour Cascade Fabrics, and this one is Dark Fantasy. Remember? If it's wrong, you'll know because I'll put my little piece of information down the bottom along with before pics and after pics. But I only did one lot of numbers on this. I just had to do the 3042 on this for Bingo. So as you can see, I've got trailing threads again because this is another Bingo one. But you'll notice that all I've done is just that. I'm pretty sure that's the only bit I've done. But she's looking gorgeous, isn't she? Doesn't she look so pretty? I was really worried that the colours might not work, but I think this is going to be okay. As I've got other colours around it, it's working but it is, I love this fabric. It is very, very pretty. So this is it, which you can't see that far back, but that's it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So that is my bingos. That was all the bingos. So bingos are done. But we are now into August stitching. And I will just pause you for a second and I'll be back. I just had to go and have a big cough, and I didn't really want to cough on the video. But we're back. Okay, so as I mentioned, that pretty much took me to the end of July. So bingo was out of the way, Foxy Loxy was out of the way, Foxy Loxy Lotto for 24 hours of cross stitch was done. So let me show you what I did for 24 hours of cross stitch before I do anything else. So this is my acrostic, all completed. All completed. So my challenges were tea. I did the teacup sampler, 120 stitches was my goal. In most cases I used 120 stitches for 24 minutes. So teacup sampler I did 236 stitches. Peacock Lady I used for E, and I said, so I should actually back up. So T, teacup sampler, obvious, teacups. E was Joan Elliott, so I used Peacock Lady, and I chose to do 24 minutes on that day, but I actually did an hour. A, I said, this is probably a tenuous stretch. This was really getting it. So I used Father Frost for A, and I said A is for award because I was so close at that stage, because I'd got the S bingo and I was going for the full bingo card, and those stitches actually gave me the full bingo card, so I got an award for the A. So yeah, I know it's a real stretch, but yeah. M for Mermaid, so I used Queen Mermaid, and I did 120 stitches as my challenge for that, and I did 129 stitches. So for the 2 and the 4, that was my Shining Star, which I showed you in my last video, and I used that because there was 2 DMC colours, and I chose to do 120 stitches, but of course I did 213 because that's how many cross stitches were in that. And then I used Shining Star again for the 4, because there was actually 4 bead colours in that, and I said 24 minutes, but I actually did just over an hour of beading on that for that one. For the H, I chose to do Quaker A Halloween from Jardin Privé, H for Halloween. Because I was spending so much time on that one, I actually bumped up my challenge and said I was going to do 480 stitches, and I did 512. O, I picked up Peacock Lady for that one, and that was when I did some work on the border, because I said O is for an ornate border, being all the fancy scrolls and stuff. And I chose the challenge of 240 stitches, which was actually not quite right. I should have really said 120, but I did 320 stitches. U, there is a U in Queen, so I used Queen Mermaid for that, and I chose to do 24 minutes on that as my challenge, and I did an hour to get those 80 odd stitches in. And the last one, R, I used Miss Christmas Eve for that, and I said that she has a red, so R for red, because she's got a red bodice on her dress. And again, because I was only doing 80 odd stitches for bingo, I chose to just do the challenge of the 24 minutes. So that was my bingo card, my acrostic for that. The holiday one, have I got the holiday one? Did I bring the holiday one in? I think I did. So for the holidays, oh, maybe I didn't. I could have sworn I was bringing that in with me. No, not here. Oh well, never mind. I can't tell you what I used for the holidays, but I did manage to achieve 12 holidays. I swore I brought that in. No, definitely not there. Okay, but I did, my choice was I did choose to just do 12 holidays. So I worked in all of the different holidays of that. So if I think about it, I'll try and remember, or maybe I'll take a photo and put it in, but it's probably not really irrelevant. I'll forget about that. move on. So for this month, oh, hang on, I forgot. So, do you want to know how many stitches I did for the month of July? 5,783 stitches. I had 2 new starts, which were just the 2 mill hills, and I had 1 finish, which was the one at the mill hills. So that was pretty impressive. That's my daily stitch count. It's alright. 5,000 stitches, or nearly 6, so it's not bad. That's pretty good. Quite like tracking stitches now. Never used to, but I quite enjoy it now. So what else have I got here? I think that's all. Yes. So that's all for that bit. So we're now moving on to the 1st and the 2nd of August. So the 1st of August I stitched on Peacock Lady, so I talked to you about that. And the reason I used Peacock Lady was, so we're still going to have a bit of plans here, I think. This might have to be a bit of plans. So this month, Sane Stitches are doing dominoes and crazy 8s or crazy whips. So dominoes, there was 3 levels. You could do, it was 25 stitches, 50 stitches and 100 stitches. So going up in those increments. I've chosen level 3, which is going up in 100 stitch increments. So by the time you get to level 10, you've got to do 1,000 stitches on a piece. So I thought that's doable over a period of the month. Once you've done level 10, you can go on to level 11 if you want to keep going forward. So I might do that, but I think I would be done probably for the month of that. I think it's going to take me a whole month to get to that point. So it's accumulating, you know, in that sense. I've got 100, then I've got to do 200 on one, and then 300, 400. So they've also got another one going, which is the Crazy Whips one. So the Crazy Whips one is you choose a way to link your whips. So if you're playing, apparently there's a game called Crazy 8s. I've never played it, but apparently there's a game called Crazy 8s. You play with cards, and you can choose to do suits or colours or something. I'm not sure. Whatever. But with this particular thing for stitching, you've got to link your whips. So let's say my first whip, I chose Peacock Lady. So I did 100 stitches on her. I actually did 111 stitches, so tick in the box. So whip number 2, which I have to do 200 stitches for dominoes, and I've linked dominoes and Crazy 8, which means I can swap my whips out with Crazy 8 at the same time I swap my domino out. So I need to link whip number 2 with number 1. So it could be I'm linking it with Joan Elliott as the designer. I'm linking it because there's a bird in it, there's a lady in it, there's something else that could be a link. You know, if it was a Christmas design, I could be doing another Christmas design. If there was a house in it, I could link that it's got, my next design's got a house or something. So somehow you have to link them up. So in my case, I started Peacock Lady, Joan Elliott. So I'm then going to use Father Frost as whip number 2. So I'm linking with Joan Elliott. From there, I'll probably use something else to maybe a Christmas design or something. I'm not sure. I actually haven't sat down and worked out my whips, but I have to, because I've got to work out what's the whip I want to work on for 1,000 stitches that I haven't used anywhere in levels 1 to 10 or 1 to 9. Because if you repeat, you don't get as many entries in. So you've got to try and do the whole 10 levels without repeating a whip. So let's see how we go. So that's what my big thing is this weekend. I've got to sit down and work out what do I want to work on for 1,000 stitches to maybe get a finish. Maybe, doubt it. But to actually, you know, spend some time on. Also bearing in mind that I'm still doing magical stitches and I'm still doing Quest for the One Ring. So I've got to somehow do that. Then we get Ultimate Cross Stitch Group for our counting stuff this month. So non-counting is stitching with puppies. Cute. But the counting one is basically stitching 500,000 stitches as a group. So that's what their ultimate aim is. But you've got to, so you do a running total for the whole month, which is great. But you can only post at 500 stitch increments, which sort of stuffs me up a little bit because I've done 100 on Peacock Lady. So I need to now do 400 more on her to be able to post those stitches, or I blow them out of the water and I can't include them. Well, I can sort of still include them, but it's going to be a bit tricky. So yeah, I've got to try and work out how to do that. But it will be fine once I get up higher in my dominoes levels, but it's not going to work in the early levels if you can only post 500 increments at a time. And the reason they've done that is because they just don't want to have so many photos in that event that overwhelms it, and then it just makes it hard for them to find all the different things, and it makes their job harder to check off everything. So I get that. So I've got to be a bit creative with how I'm doing it. So as I said, I worked on Peacock Lady for whip number 1. So Father Frost will be whip number 2 probably, or I might decide that maybe Father Frost is the one I want to leave to the end. I don't know. We'll think. So yesterday then, and did I use? No, I didn't use that for anything. So yesterday, I then decided, because I've got to get back to my magical stitches, because I've only got 2 more days to finish 3 more tasks, and I'm really behind the 8 ball here. And I've also got to start working on quest number 10. What's quest number 10? Oh yeah, looking ahead and looking behind. That's right, for Stitchy quests. So I'm using actually Peacock Lady for the looking ahead, which is 6 hours on a project that you've been looking forward to stitching on. So I'm sort of thinking that if I spend some time on that this weekend, I get my 6 hours in, that's done, and I also get my 500 stitches in for Ultimate Cross Stitch Group, done, moving right along. But it's sort of, yeah, it's fine. And then the other part of Stitchy Quest number 10 is to work on something that you really want to get behind you. So I'm thinking, do I link another Joan Elliott to do that one, and then I can use Father Frost? But yeah, it's all, we'll get there somewhere. So back to magical stitches. So magical stitches, one of the things we have to do this is week 5, so year 5, week 5. So we had to do 200 stitches over 5, or 200 stitches per task. There's 5 tasks, and it's to do with the charms. So I wrote these down so that I could remember them. Where did I put them? I wrote them down here. So number 1 was Expelliarmus, or whatever it is. But that's the disarming charm, and for that one you had to stitch 200 stitches, or in red metallic, or you have to do 200 red beads. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to do a penalty on that one, because I've got the thing in red metallic for 200 stitches. But part of this particular one is if you don't do a penalty, you're going to get a bonus points on it. So I'm thinking, well, if I could really do the bonus points, I'd be really happy, because I've missed a couple over the last, like I missed the week before and stuff. So I need the bonus points. And my stomach's grumbling because it's after lunchtime and it's hungry. So I hope you didn't hear that on the video. So anyway, I then went through my mill hills, and I thought, well, there's sure to be a mill hill that's going to have some red beads that maybe, it's surprising how quickly you can add up on mill hill kits with beads. And I found one. So it's the Beaded Holiday, and it's a little crimson Cardinal. And of course, look at all those red beads. So I started that last night. And because it is just a beaded kit, and it's only done in white thread, I've actually been doing some blue and some yellow beads as I was going, because I started just doing the red ones, and then I'm thinking, oh god, this is going to be a pain in the backside, because yeah, it's not normal ones you would do with the different coloured thread. This is just white. And I went, oh, I'm going to stop and start. And I thought, oh, I'll just do the blue beads while I'm going. So I've done the red, and I've done some red here, and I've done a couple of yellows. So, and I'm now onto those bigger red beads there. So I'll pull this out today, finish this off, and who knows, it might be a finish would be, because it's not that much in there to do. But I'll at least get as many of the red beads done as I can. And then that will be that one done. So then the second part of that is to stupefy, which I've already done. I told you I did that one with Peacock Lady. Task number 3 is a levy corpus, which is you've got to stitch on something in midair. So I'm not sure what I'm doing with that one yet. I have to think about that one. Task number 4 3 was levicorpus, 4 is reducto, so stitch something in pieces, which is why I was thinking, do I actually pull out my Joan Elliott, Faces of Joan Elliott, which was released in pieces, and I'm stitching it in pieces because I'm stitching a bit here and a bit there and a bit there. So that's why I'm thinking I might make that my whip number 2 for the dominoes, Crazy 8, and I can do 200 stitches on that and get that done. So that may be a thought, yeah. And as I mentioned, I used Peacock Lady for task number 5, which was stitching on your Patronus. So that's that done. What else do I need to do? I think that's it. So Stitchy Quest, I managed to do a couple of tasks on that, and I've still got to finish up number 9, but that's good because you can catch up later, so that's okay. What else have we done? So I've told you I did my bingo. I told you about my 24 hours of cross stitch, and my stomach is really grumbling now. And yeah, so pretty much that's it. So quickly, plans. So plans, as I mentioned, semi-sane stitches, crazy whips and dominoes. Ultimate cross stitch, so I've got to continue working towards that. Magical stitches, Stitch Quest, yep. 24 hours of cross stitch, fitting in the challenges. The stitching time one, that's fine. It's the acrostic and the holiday one. And I'm going to see if I can actually do more than 12 holidays this time around. So we'll see how we go. It's cross stitch finish line stitchathon this weekend, so that's a salad I'll definitely be doing. So I'm still stitching to Mordor. I'm still stitching the solar system, so they're doing not too bad. And I'm still doing magical stitches, the outrageous headmistress, because all my stitches count into those. So that's cool. Haul. What did I do with my haul? Oh, there it is. There's not a lot of haul. Not a lot at all. But what I do have is I have my July Jodery fabric. Oh, did you hear? I'm sure everybody knows. Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics has reopened her Fabric of the Month club, and I've signed up again. I used to get it a couple of years ago, but then I stopped getting it because the postage cost went too expensive and I was just doing too much. So I dropped out, regretted it instantly, but thought, you know what, it is what it is. But I've signed up again because I was thinking, Picture This Plus, I'm not going to do that next year. So I've got enough Picture This Plus for the time being. So I'll wait now and just buy stuff on sale or whatever. So I can go back to having Leslie's fabric, because I love Leslie's fabrics. But this one, this is the Jodery one, and excuse me. Ooh. It is called Gnome Party. So this is the July one. So it's very pretty with the pinks and blues and oranges and stuff, so I have no idea what I would stitch on that, but you never know. I'm sure I'll find something. And it's a 28 count opal, Brittany, and I've got which is that's the Gnome Party. So that's Gnome Party, the limited edition one, and then the others are just the normal fabric that I get. So that's that one. I also have got my Halloween issue from Just Cross Stitch. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, there's not a lot in there. There's a couple of things I probably will do, but I'm actually really, really disappointed because I'm definitely going to see if I can show you without showing you the chart. There we go. Definitely going to do that little sheepy one. And that's a Nikki's Creation one, but there's not, I'm really actually, it's probably the last couple haven't been that good as far as what I like to stitch. That one I think I'll want to stitch as well. Not that I stitch drums, but there's a picture of the drum. I don't generally stitch drums, but it's nice, and it's a praiseworthy stitches, and I do like my praiseworthy stitches. But yeah, so basically, I hope the Christmas one's better. So I don't know. That might be the last time I get that, which is a shame because I have enjoyed that. And the other day I was playing around on Etsy. Dangerous, dangerous. And these came from Journey of a Stitcher, who's an Aussie Etsy seller. So this is the Sunflower Inn from Little House Needleworks. The reason I've picked this one up is in the Little House Country Cottage Needleworks group, Facebook group. There's a sale starting for August, and Sunflower Inn is one of the charts that you could stitch, and I didn't have that. So I saw that and thought, well, I might try that. But of course, there's a mixture of crescent colours and a DMC in it, and I can see I've got two of the crescent colours. So I don't know. Might have to do another DMC conversion, we'll see. But I quite like that. I like the in ones, and I'm sort of thinking I've got a few, so maybe I'll collect all of those. But I also picked up Plum Street Samplers Harvest Keeper, which is the best one there. I'm sure you've all seen this one. It's been out for a little while. Came out in 2014, so yeah, I'm sure everybody's seen that. But I like that. So, but this was the main one I wanted to buy. And of course, those two had to come because of this one. And I know I wanted Sunflower Inn, but I could have done without it. But I've got it. But I saw this. This is Blackbird Designs Strawberry Fields Forever. And I have been looking for this on and off for quite a while. And I saw that she had it, and I went, wham, that's it. I'm having that. I just love this. It's probably my favourite out of all the ones that they did of the Beatles. And this one, definitely, I had to have. Just love it. And I saw on their Facebook page that, or I think it was on their Facebook page, that they're reprinting the two of the, is it Long Winding Road and I can't remember the other one, that are being out of print for a while. But this is the only one I really want. I don't like the Yellow Submarine one. So I've got that one. And that's it. I am done. Don't think there's any more. That was a bit, I feel like it was another one of those that was a bit rambly. Yeah, well, it is what it is. That's what I am. Rambly, rabbit trails, whatever. So yeah, so that's it. So as I mentioned sort of way back in the beginning, next video I want to, hopefully, if all goes well, talk about something that my hubby's doing. And I'll showcase something that he's up to. But I won't say too much, because if he doesn't finish doing what he's doing, I won't be able to tell you until he's done it. So I'll show you that maybe next time. If not, it'll be sometime sooner. So that's it for today. So I will now go away and have some lunch and fix up my grumbly belly. And then I will do a bit of editing. And I'll get this up, and hopefully it'll be up this afternoon, and then I'll get stitching, and we will be back again in hopefully in a couple of weeks to show you what I've been up to with the crazy 8 stitching and the dominoes and the magical stitches, because everything these days is ruling my world. Stitching just always rules my world. Absolutely crazy, but it's good. So that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope you did see something that you enjoyed looking at, and you'll come back again. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and commenting. And I will see you again shortly. See you again soon. Thank you. Bye. And that was a bit of a silly end, wasn't it? I might have to cut that out and piece together. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'll catch you later. See you. Bye.